spear that had been launched from the heavens pierced the ground. The giant soldier battle line, the war tower, split up into countless gold butterflies, wrapping the area in a gold-colored storm. Then came the sound of thunder, and the sound of the falling rain and wind. If you looked around, the rose garden was empty. The butler and the rest were watching the two witches confronting each other. But Beatrice alone had changed. She'd been pierced straight through by the spear, from the base of her neck and her right shoulder to her left buttocks. Unable to even reach the ground with her feet. Horribly exposed like a pitiful pinned butterfly tormented by the wind and rain.
Beatrice 様。
さすが恐ろしいお方です。
これで決着です。ベアトリーチ。
Ouch. Beatrice wore a bitter smile of false courage, but a strain of blood dangled from her mouth, making her look even more pitiful.
無限の魔女の称号と、そしてベアトリーチェの名を今無限の魔女を語るにはお前は未熟が過ぎます。やめて許してよ。ちょっとふざけた。
I was just fooling around. It was just a prank, bro.
あなたから我が名を奪います。元の姿に戻してあげましょう。過ぎたる力を手放し、己にふさわしい生を全うするがよいでしょう。さあさあ、あなたがどんな姿をしていたの
Oh shit. Predecessor Beatrice began to recite the words of power. When she did, small gold butterflies gathered near the skewered Beatrice and began to swarm about her. Like butterflies sucking the nectar out of flowers, they began to suck the magical power out of Beatrice. And it seemed to cause her intense pain. A cry of anguish issued from Beatrice's mouth. She no longer had any power to resist it.
さあさあ、目を閉じて思い出してごらん。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。さあ、ベアトリーチ、あなたも私と一緒に復唱、一緒にお歌を歌いましょう。そうすればすぐに終わりますよ。あなたの苦痛が少しでも早く終わります。そうだな。お師匠様と一緒にお歌を歌うなんてどれくらいぶりかな。さあ一緒に。さあさあ、思い出してごらん。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。さあさあ、思い出。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
And the two of them began to recite the same song. More and more gold butterflies danced around, swarming around Beatrice.
大丈夫ですよ、お嬢様。あなたは私の弟子であることを失いますが、私の仕えるお嬢様であることに変わりはありません。そうしたらまた一緒にリンゴのパイを焼いて差し上げましょう。昔のように。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。思い出してごらんなさい。そろそろ思い出せてきたかな。なあ、お師匠様。あんたの後ろにあるそれ。思い出したかな。
Oh shit.
何ですかこれは。
And the predecessor Beatrice looked behind her. There was an eerie hedgehog curled up there. No, it was herself. There was another predecessor Beatrice, whose whole body had been packed with ballista shots, lying there like a pincushion doll.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。違うか。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどう
Predecessor Beatrice was stunned. Her form gradually began to fade away.
これはいつの間に。
最初に呼んだのは双剣の塔ではない、四つ子の塔だったのよ。お師匠様の左右はるかに潜んだ隠し塔が描くセブンスランクルークの死の境界線を、お師匠様はのこのこと踏み越えてきてくれた。チェックの発生が遅れてしまったことだけはマナー違反。率直に謝ろうぞ。
The battle had been decided at the very beginning. It had been over since the time the predecessor had leaned forward, readying her holy spear to attack Beatrice, who had been wedged between her shoulder towers. The hidden towers lurking on either side had bathed her in a windstorm of ballista shots from 720 ports on both sides, pinning and killing her. However, Beatrice hadn't wanted it to be resolved like that. She had wanted to let her teacher take her next move, and had continued acting as though the game was still on. She had immediately revived her with the endless power, and had made her continue the game as though nothing had happened. And the predecessor slowly remembered that she had already been killed, and began to vanish completely. When she did, the spear that had pierced Beatrice also vanished. Beatrice finally landed on the ground. There wasn't even a trace of a scar.
楽しかったぞ、お師匠様。また遊びたくなったらいつでも蘇らせてやるよ。それで適当に遊んだら死体だったことをまた思い出させてやるからさ。なあ、ちゃんとあんたの言いつけは守ってるぜ。おもちゃは遊び終わったらちゃんとおもちゃ箱にしまいましょう。
楽勝でございますかな。
愚かだ、心象だ。四つ子島で騙せてなかったら死んでおったのはわらわの方よ。さすがはお師匠様だが、これで胸が張れるというもの。わらわは今こそお師匠様を完全に超えたとな。ロノウェ、お師匠様の亡骸をもう少しマシにしておけ。わらわもそこまで敬意を失ってはおらぬでな。
かしこまりました。今宵の第一の晩は少々派手に暴れすぎました。
A bit.
少しは片付けも必要でしょう。すぐに取り掛かります。ヤギたちよ、お片付けの時間ですよ。
When Ronove snapped his fingers, blazing, sparkling eyes began to blink open in the shadows and darkness, becoming goat-headed attendants that appeared one after another. One by one, they wordlessly stood at attention in a line behind Ronove's back.
この度は6人の遺体をどのようにいたしますか。また密室形式に。
わらわは今ロノウェに任す。バトラーを悩ませるようなとびっきりの密室を頼むぞ。
かしこまりました。それではとびきりの。
Oh god. Yeah, I can only imagine what Battler's thinking right now after seeing all that shit happen.
それ、バトラーはどこだ。
Man took a nap, he was done.
バトラー、わらわの大活躍見た。
くしょー、今のめちゃくちゃな魔法の嵐を見せつけられて、魔女はいるも何も、あんなドッカンドッカン凄まじいファンタジーを見せつけられて、もうわかんねえ。前回もそうだが、このイーカス的なマジカルバトルをどう否定すりゃいいんだよ。
だよな。こんなの見ちまったらもう言い逃れはできねえもん。さあバトラー、とんでも推理を聞かせてくれよ。
お嬢様、笑いに品がございませんよ。
おお、これはすまぬ。しかしわらわの責任ではないぞ。何しろバトラにキューッと両目を固く閉じてキリキリギリギリ歯ぎしりするなんとも悔しそうなその表情を見せられると、自然とわらわの口からこぼれてしまうものでな。
さあバトラ様、くじけずにテーブルへお戻りを。お嬢様はバトラ様の反撃を期待されております。
ふざけるな。何をどう反論すりゃいいってんだ。まずあの塔が地面から生えてきたあたりから実は六軒島の地下に合体変形巨大ロボの秘密研究所でもあって、ボタン一つでおかしな塔が生えてくるってのか。ああ、それならあのでけえ巨人どもはきっとロボットだぜ。あるいは悪の秘密結社のメカ怪獣かもな。わけわかんねえよ。俺に話しかけるんじゃねえ。うわ
ー、ほらほらほらほら、泣くなよ。魔法でドッカンドッカン。そなたが望むなら月だって砕くし、水星を雨のようにだって降らすさ。お前好みのムチムチ姉ちゃんで島を埋め尽くしてやっても
Wait, really?
いいんだぜ。
Go on.
さあ
You can make it rain titties?
ほらほらほら、わらわの手
No, 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 go back to what you were saying
回った
earlier.
ぜ。
Make it rain titties. Prove it. Don't just make claims like that and don't prove it. Go ahead. Do it.
受け手をさせよ。反撃しろよ。できねえだろ。できねえのは船長も承知よ。お前こういうのダメだもんな。こういうファンタジー本当は大好きなんだもんな。
Oh, I hate your voice.
知ってんだよ。今時こんなの巷にいくらでも溢れてるじゃねえか。漫画に小説、アニメに映画。10代くらいのガキンチョたちがおかしな特殊能力いっぱい持ってて、世界の命運かけてドッカンバッカンやるやつ。
What? No.
お前も大好きだもんな。知ってんだよ。隠すなよ。大好きじゃねえかよ。そのお前の大好きなやつがちょいと目の前で披露されただけじゃねえかよ。どうして漫画やアニメのそれは信じてくれるのに、わらわのだけ信じてくれねえんだよ。信じろよ、信じろよ。
Believe it.
信じちまえよ。反論なんかできねえさ。こうして見せられちまったんだからな。ほらほらほらほら、思考はいらねえ。素直にごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様ってほらほら言ってみろ。ごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様って言ってみろよ。
Jesus Christ. I'm very curious how this plays out then. Because now all the adults are left alive. Like everyone, all the servants are dead. Those are the only one, and Kinzo. Kinzo and the servants are all dead. So like all the actual family members are still alive. So now I'm very curious how this story plays out then. That means we got plenty of options for the two who are close. My God. That was fucking insane. Like, magic and witches and whatnot. Okay, I accepted that's part of the story. Alright, I was not expecting all that shit. Not for a single second was I expecting any of what I just witnessed. That was fucking insane. That was just... I don't have words for it right now. But anyway, I'm gonna end this recording session here. That seems like the best stopping point I could have. Wait, do we have any death descriptions or not yet? Because Battler hasn't found them. Yeah, Story Battler hasn't found them yet. Okay. Wait, next. Oh, we don't get a description of the previous Beatrice? Okay, so be it. But yeah, I'm gonna end this one here. It's either gonna be a quick jump cut or a new video, but regardless, see y'all in the next recording session. Till then, peace. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to even more Umineko, episode 3. In the previous recording session, a whole lot went down. Like, a lot. We had our first Twilight happening, and usually within, like, the first Twilight, there's, like, the one big reveal. That's it with the first Twilight. We haven't even had the reveal of, like, what's been done with the corpses or anything. But, like, normally that's it. Like, the big reveal of the first Twilight is, like, the big moment of has been the big moment of the last 2 episodes. But, like, we've had so much shit happen within these last few moments. Fucking all the servants being offered up as sacrifices. You know, we saw what happened with Genji, Kanon, and Shannon. That whole moment, that was an intense moment. And then there was the big fucking witch fight out in the courtyard. Like, so much has happened. And, like, we haven't even had the big reveal of the Twilight yet. Like, the rest of the family doesn't know. It's crazy. Also, yeah, all the servants are, were selected for the first Twilight. So this is, like, the first time that all the siblings are going to be alive for the first Twilight, which I'm interested to see what effect that has on the story. Also, I'm pretty sure, by now it's pretty obvious that Ava's going to be the one taking charge this time around. I'm very curious to see how that ends up happening, especially if Nazi's still alive. Like, if Nazi had died, I could understand it. Ava stepping up, like, obviously Rose is not going to step up if Ava's there. If Ava's there, Rose is going to sit back down and be like, oh, I ain't stepping to that bitch. And she shouldn't. Rosa could never compare to Ava, alright? I may have talked mad shit on Ava before. And, she still got some faults. But, she's far, far above where Rosa will ever be. But anyway, yeah, we're picking up. I think this is immediately after the witch fight. I believe that was the last thing I did. Right. Because they had sacrificed, because there was the whole, sacrifice of Genji, Kanon, and Shannon. Then they went after Goda, and wait, who? I'm forgetting someone. I'm forgetting someone because there's 6 in the first Twilight. Who else was selected? Oh wait, no, Kinzo was the other one. Duh, yeah, it was Kinzo and the servants. Because Kinzo, like, erupted into... That was another thing. Kinzo fucking erupted into flames. Shit's insane. Kinzo erupted into flames. Genji, Kanon, and Shannon had their moment. Oh, yeah, Goda. I remember... Yeah. His was, like, the classic, like, horror movie shit where it's, like, the pot's shaking. He's like... He goes to open it, and then there's nothing in there. He's like, oh, guess there's nothing there. Close it. It starts fucking shaking again. That was comical. I enjoyed it. But yeah. Okay. Now I'm remembering exactly where we're at. Yeah. And then Kumasawa was the last of the servants to be selected. And then when they found her, she managed to deflect all the stakes. And then it turned out she was Beatrice's mentor, who soul had been hidden away in Kumasawa, but had been reawakened. She had a big fight with Beatrice, and Beatrice ended up winning. Crazy shit. So yeah, this is picking up immediately after the whole big witch fight in the courtyard. That's where we're at. So without further ado, let's jump into it. There would have been no way to tell that morning had come without opening a window and looking up at the cloudy sky, which had become a tiny bit lighter. It wasn't a refreshing morning. All that could be heard was the sound of the rain, which hadn't stopped falling since last night, and the howl of the wind.
とても朝とは思えないわね。私たちの心をそのまま示したひどい天気よ。
なら随分穏やかじゃねえか。雨は降れど槍が降らねえだけマシだぜ。
Nice. Because in the previous scene, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Spears falling from the sky. You're talking nonsense, Rudolph.
雨が降ろうと槍が降ろうとドンと来いっちゅうとこやな。
Oh yeah. Whole lot of bangs happening.
もう6時かいな。
They're like, Zara, where's breakfast? Who's making me breakfast?
はあ、これで十分とちゃうか。あとは謎の19人目ベアトリーチェが動いてこんことには手の打ちようもないわ。
そういうことだ。だが向こうが撃ってくるだろう。
Right, and then another thing I totally forgot was the whole flashback moment with Rosa and Beatrice, where Rosa indirectly killed Beatrice through her own ignorance and negligence, because Rosa just sucks like that.
そうね。兄弟の中に裏切り者さえ現れなければ、私たちは大抵の事態に対応できるはずよ。
もうこの話は終
No,
わりにしま
we're
しょ
gonna
う。
continue talking about it. I don't care how bad it makes you feel.
結局
In fact, that's why I want to keep
徹夜しちゃったわ
talking about it.
ね。眠いわ。 そうですね。朝食をとったら一度お休みになられてはいかがで
Yes,
すか。
after eating breakfast that your servants are definitely preparing.
良い提案だ。この年に徹夜は応えるよ。
As they all stretched, they enjoyed this unrefreshing morning as best they could.
顔でも洗ってこようぜ。きっとひでえつらさ。
何このひどい匂い。
What, did all of them get tossed in the incinerator?
どうしましたか。
Also, I didn't read that. Whoops, back it up. As soon as they exited into the corridor, Kyrie openly made a disgusted expression.
ねえ、何かひどい匂いがしない？
ん？なんやこの匂いは。こらたまらんで。
After hearing those complaints, everyone stuck their heads out into the corridor. The stench was faint, but once people started commenting on it, it was clearly noticeable. Each of them went into the corridor, relying on their own sense of smell to tell them where the strange odor was coming from.
一体何事でしょう。現時に対応させましょう。きっともう使用人室に来ていて朝の準備をしているはずです。
Oh yeah? Sure about that?
頼む。まさかあのゴーダに限ってこんな匂いをさせる朝食を作っているとは思いがたいのだがね。
Rudolph and the others searched for the source of the smell and determined that it was coming from underground, from the boiler room. But the door was locked, and they couldn't check inside. Of course the door is locked. Of course it is. I can't wait for the moment fucking Badler figures out the key detail that like unravels all these locked rooms, you know? Like, oh no, these are perfectly, you know, closed room situations, you know? There's no way anything could happen, but he's gonna discover that one detail and everything's gonna fall apart. It's like, ah yeah, you relied on your fucking closed room so many times, bitch. Yeah, but guess what now? Look, I fucking cracked the code. At the same time, when Nazi's group was on its way to search for someone in the servant room, they noticed something strange near the parlor.
何ですかこれは。ひどいいたずらだわ。誰がこんなことを。
Magic circle? Yep. On the door to the parlor, drawn in paint that looked like blood, was a strange thing that looked like a magic circle.
厨房にはまだ誰も来てないわ。何よそれ。
So they're in the parlor, huh? Ava's group, who thought the smell might be coming from the kitchen, had returned after confirming that no one was there and that preparations for breakfast had not yet begun. Then they noticed the change to the parlor.
ダメだな。ボイラー室は鍵がかかっボイラーの故障とかそういうのだとまずいんじゃないのか。使用人は誰かいたか。
その悪趣味な落書き、ここにもあるの？ボイラー室の扉にもあったのよ。
There was one on the boiler room too? Damn, how many twilights we going through?
なんやってこの薄気味悪い落書きがここだけじゃなく。
Was she already laid out all her magic circles? It's only the first twilight and she's already got every magic circle laid out or something?
まさか森の魔女ベアトリーチェの宣戦布告っちゅうわけやないやろな。
Hideyoshi tried to make fun of it, but staring at this creepy magic circle while listening to the wind and rain really made it seem like a message from the witch. The dripping, bright red paint made one think of blood, which made it even creepier. Hideyoshi tried to open the door, but it had been locked. Of course. As a general rule, the parlor wasn't locked. Someone had gone out of their way to lock it.
これは
It means it's
どう
locked.
いうこと？私たちが食堂で話し合いをしている最中に誰かがこっそりとこの落書きを残したというの？
I mean, it'd be pretty easy. If y'all were up having a discussion till 6 in the morning, I could easily imagine, like, with how loud I know you fuckers get, absolutely someone could have done that.
客間とボイラー室の扉に
Like, you don't even need magic for an explanation on that one. You don't need no lengthy fucking red text discussion. Like, yeah, no, it's very easy. Someone could left some scribbles on the door.
どうせ使用人の仕業よ。
Yes, the servants. They, you know, they're ones to... They're real well known for their little pranks.
私たちはずっと一緒だったのよ。全員にアリバイがある。
Ooh. So what, they're all gonna start suspecting the kids then? Is that what they're gonna do? They're like, oh yeah, we all have alibis here. Then they're gonna find the corpses of all the servants in Kinzo. And they're like, well, that only leaves then the cousins. Clearly one of them must have done it.
おそらくお父様に何かおかしな指示を受けてこんないたずらをしたのよ。
昨日のマリアちゃんの手紙の件も含めて使用人連中が親父の手先になって何かを企んでる可能
Yeah,
性
sure,
は
buddy.
十分疑えるからな。とにかくみんなどこに嫌がるんだ。まさかかくれんぼってわけでもねえだろうに。探そうぜ。
それより私は子供たちが気になるわ。無事よね。
Don't act like you care about the kids.
確かめてくるついでにゲストハウスに使用人の人がいないか見てくるわ。
なら手分けだな。考えたくはねえが、こんな薄気味悪い落書きがここだけってことはねえかもしれない。
親父殿のおかしなゲームに巻き込まれているのか
I
もしれない。
mean...
私は親父殿のところへ行って事情を聞いてみよう。
Yes, go to him. I'm sure you'll be able to do that.
素直に話を聞いてくれるとは思えんがね。